Welcome to the Golden Feminine podcast. This is a sacred space dedicated to expand wisdom around feminine energetics, multipotentiality, embodied leadership, love, empowerment, and sexuality. I'm your host, Ines Roque-Duval. So today we have an amazing guest, Melissa Sanga. She's an incredible womb wisdom keeper, healer with an incredible knowledge, and she has done the path of Tao Tantric Arts with me. We have studied together, and I could not wait to invite her into my podcast. She has been one of my biggest inspiration around this path. She actually was the person who inspired me in going deeper into the womb wisdom and healing secrets, mysteries. And let's welcome this amazing goddess into this space. Welcome, Mel. How are you today? I'm so happy to see you.
Me too. And I'm really grateful to be here talking about this. As always, one of my favorite topics. How am I doing? I feel like a little bit raw and tender. I'm just come back to my family home for the first time in a year now. So I'm in that transition of living in Mexico, in Costa Rica, in Ecuador recently, and just finishing a really big retreat that I held there, and now coming back for winter cocoon to actually experience the womb of the earth in the darkness and the cocoon. And going through a transition with my family. So I'm coming with that kind of cocoon, tender space. And you?
Yeah, so I'm here in Portugal, and I'm feeling also a little tender. I have been hosting a lot of events. Yesterday I just did my first ever temple for men and women. So I invite for the first time after these 2 years only with the Sacred Feminine. So it was an amazing experience. But my place where my heart so thrives is definitely with sisters in the womb space, definitely in the womb and space. And even though it was an amazing experience, I'm so here to devote myself to this work for the feminine. And well, here I am. That's why we are here. I want to also give a little introduction here to my community that are joining and watching the replay after.
Yeah.
That Melissa we met in Tao Tantric Arts, so 1.5 years ago, more or less, or almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Time goes fast, and she is such an inspiration for me in this womb healing and awakening and mysteries. She has so much wisdom. I got to know her well in the training because we had some exercises that we had to introduce ourselves. She was my partner, so I got to know all her history around her journey around womb healing, and is so inspiring. She actually inspired me to go deeper into that. After the training, I went even deeper because she inspired me so much. And during this podcast, I couldn't have a better guest than my dear friend and sister. And also, we have so much memories also already together, and so I'm so happy to talk to you. We always talk for hours, and I'm so happy to be here.
I didn't know that actually, that was that it was an inspiration. And I've been receiving messages all day about what to talk about in this, insights all day about what to talk about in this live. And I just feel just hearing the possibility of womb healing and awakening for most people opens a whole other world and portal. So just the conversational aspect of it is such an incredible bridge or stepping stone to go deeper into these mysteries and this work, for sure.
Yeah, it's really amazing. So, do you want to let us know briefly what you do with this, with the magic? I know a lot, but maybe here people don't know. You want to introduce a little bit
Yeah,
what you
absolutely.
do?
I'm gonna take my incense out because it's really intense. So what do I do? What a great question. My service is really like evolved this year, actually, specifically this year. And one of the favorite, like the core pieces of my work is somatic experiencing. And what I mean by that is like going into the body, so let's say the womb or the pelvis, and in a very grounded, safe, carefully curated space, fully expressing the pain, the rage, the grief, the trauma from the womb. And that work has been incredibly powerful in my own journey. And then also witnessing, I've started sharing it at every retreat and every training that I do, and witnessing like the complete catharsis, the clearing, the spaciousness, and the like the rebirth that comes from doing those kind of practices and rituals. And something that I've really delved into this year is like giving people permission to really go into like the 100% or 120% or whatever percent they're ready to get to of the expression of that, like rage, grief, whatever. And for me, in my own journey, that was so revelationary, because evolutionary, because it was like I never had permission to really feel those things and express them with my sound. So when I say express, I mean sound, like guttural, screaming, shouting, like moaning, grunting, like primal. And then it might like I have different exercises for different things, but it also might include some kind of movement or shaking or something, just to like really complete the stress cycle. And like this is one aspect of my work, and another aspect is like very gentle and soft. And I know your audience will really relate. We have so many things that are in alignment with both of our work about pleasure, the erotic, beauty, sexuality. So there's one aspect of my work which is really about the trauma healing and clearing, which is fundamental. And then once we clear the space, this is what you spoke about with alchemy, is like once you clear the space, then there's actual spaciousness for more pleasure, for more blood flow, for more life force, more creativity. It's like a cracking open. And then they're not like happening one after the other. They're kind of happening in tandem, like clearing space, bringing in more pleasure and creativity. They kind of weave at the same time. And it's a layered process. But another aspect of my work is like awakening the womb, which is like the spiritual portal to consciousness, to the universe, to life, to creation, and bringing that sense of reverence and beauty and magic back in, and pleasure back into that space. So those are kind of the two sides of one coin that I work really deeply with. And that journey started because as you know, my story, like, you know, the deep story word by word, but like that I healed my own womb after 3 years of not having a period. And my own journey of wound healing was long, and it required so much patience, and it required so much determination and willpower to keep going, because I really believe that my own journey was as long as it was, and then I didn't get my period back, my fertility back for so long, is because life wanted me to go on this kind of this expedition, this voyage to receive a bunch of tools, to remember the tools of how to heal wombs. And I was traveling and living in Latin America, in South and Central America. Pretty much my only job at that time was to heal my womb. And I have so much gratitude for myself in that time, and all the things that I learned. I didn't know I was going to be teaching this or sharing this. But here we are, and it's something I'm super passionate about.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It was so beautiful. And like the last seconds, I got so much goosebumps and so many questions.
Let's go. Let's go deep. I'm ready.
So, we both have a common path, which is the sacred sexuality and eroticism, which is something I work a lot. But for me, I found there was a moment of my life that I found that was very hard to work on these fields when you don't do the clearing process. Yeah. And sometimes I saw that there were women that actually were very sexually awakened, and they feel they have a lot of pleasure, and maybe, but there is a point in the relationships where they can't go deep, or they know they have something in their bodies that don't allow them to go deep. And since I have been observing women, especially with the sacred femininity, when I go deep and deep and deep, normally it goes to wombs with our ancestrality that are linked to our wombs as well.
Yeah.
And I noticed that sometimes, even when we do yoni steaming, when we do yoni pujas, but there is even a layer deeper, which is the womb, that sometimes there is this work, especially in the sacred sexuality, but there is not this, sometimes there is not this awareness. This is for women so important, which is the awareness of energetics and connecting with the womb wisdom. Because if the womb has wounds and have that, if we don't clear the space, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. If we don't clear the space, if there is also ancestral energies we are carrying, there is a problem with our creativity, right?
Yeah. I think it's impossible to do womb healing without touching upon your maternal lineage and clearing and healing for them. And something that I hear a lot from clients or from people in my circles is that people can get really overwhelmed with the idea that there's like a lot of healing to do. They know that their maternal lineage has a lot of trauma and abortions and rape, and they know in their own life they have a lot of stuff to clear and heal. And I want to kind of enter into this topic with like a lot of compassion and softness and slowness, because there's actually nowhere to go and there's nowhere to get to. And I think the first step in how you're relating to your womb is with that sense of loving kindness, because our wombs and our maternal lineage and the collective womb has been through so much intensity and hardness and fast energy. And it's like, actually we can start by just I think in terms of just connecting to the womb day to day and meditating and bringing our consciousness down. I saw that there was someone who said something earlier that I think is a really great question, and I want to bring it in, who said, is this I can't find it now, but it was like, is this a mental process
or a physical process?
So it's for me about consciousness. So, well, like everyone knows pretty much the phrase, how does it go? Where your attention goes, energy flows, right?
Exactly.
So if we bring a practice I love to do at the end of the day, or if I'm really anxious or I'm really struggling with my energy, I know, or sleeping or something, I think, okay, so where is the energy in my body right now? And when I think about it, I notice it's all in my head,
Mm.
usually. So like I can feel that my energy is not occupying the consciousness of my toes. And one of my favorite ways to sleep is just to bring my consciousness down to my feet or my toes or my womb, because it's like
Grounding.
deeper. Yeah. And or my cervix, but maybe we can get more onto cervix later. So it's the first most important step, and the thing that I see as most successful or most supportive in womb healing is like how you bring your consciousness down into your womb. And I have a practice, and I recommend to everyone that works with me and anyone who resonates with it to just have like a short practice. It can just first start with like 30 seconds or just a moment of bringing your consciousness, your energy down into your womb and filling your womb with light or with love. And I always say like loving consciousness, loving awareness, this beautiful,
Exactly.
I don't know if it came from Ram Dass, but something that was really like radiant from Ram Dass's teachings of like bringing your loving awareness, and I am loving awareness. So how we can bring that awareness of love into the womb, maybe for the first time. And I know from my own experience, I was so disembodied. I came from a lot of sexual trauma, body trauma, a lot of like a dysfunctional family where there was a lot of fear, and I wasn't embodied in my body. And one of the first things I needed to do in my in the bringing back of my moon and healing my womb was like how I reconnected with this space with my focus, intention, and consciousness. And yeah, bringing that consciousness down, and if you feel to add like light into the womb, and just see how it is this portal, it's this spiral, and see how deep you can go in your meditation, like spiraling into that central focal point that is really like this this portal is the only word that comes really into the rest of the cosmos.
Yes,
And
the galactic
it's
womb.
exactly the galactic womb. And you know, some people always want to know like, how do I do all these things and the womb mysteries and the womb wisdom? And it's like, it's actually very simple for me. And the most simple thing is actually, how often can you make a small practice of bringing your consciousness into your womb, your cervix, your ovaries? Because a lot of womb healing negates the rest. A lot of practitioners of womb healing, or whatever you want to say, leaders, they don't necessarily always talk about the ovaries and the cervix and the
Yes,
whole every part of the yoni. And so
it's so
um,
important.
you know, and so really bringing that energy down there and seeing what's there. And womb wisdom is as simple as just asking a message and asking some insights from this other kind of, we have a third eye consciousness portal, we have a heart consciousness, and we have a womb consciousness, and they have different frequencies, different vibrations. I
It's
don't know if
so
I answered your question.
yes. No, yeah, and you also went further, which is so amazing, because this weekend I led a womb steaming ceremony, which is something that really, for me, the most powerful practice. Like, I love womb steaming, I love my
Yeah.
sauna here. And what I realized, because I also lead a lot of groups for entrepreneurs, and how to actually, I had this group called Exponential Creatrix, which is how to create exponentially. And there is no way that we can go further, understand who we are, and connect and have a clear vision without clearing the womb. What I
Yeah.
realized when for example, this weekend we did a yoni steaming ceremony, and one of the things that I was asking was, if you have extra like energies you don't feel, if it comes from ex-partners, if it comes from uh, your lineage, just release and ask to see, to connect also with who you are. And the moment I experience by myself, the moment I clear deeply my womb and connect with my womb, I even have clear visions and have more creativity. I can understand where I'm going, where is the right path, where I'm not in alignment, where I'm in alignment. So in a way, I'm awakening my third eye, as you are saying. I have so much clarity normally after womb steaming. And also other rituals, but especially womb steaming, it's like it's clearing the fog, the sacred waters, and the medicines of the plants are just infusing, are receiving the womb and the cervix are receiving this warmth, the nourishment from the earth, and it seems like opens. It's like I used to say when we go to saunas, we want to clear the bodies. It's exactly like yonis and wombs, they also want to be cleared sometimes and have the maintenance, let's say.
Yeah,
and,
for sure. Yeah.
It's really important. I found myself to have so much creativity, and I know that you are also although you are an incredible healer, you are also like an entrepreneur, so it also helps you, right? Helps you to have clear visions in your work, to be in alignment with your work, to be actually womb centered in your business, in your leadership.
Yeah, for sure. And this might be a totally new concept for some people, but for me, my womb is my CEO. My womb. My womb. I don't know if I invented it or if I read it somewhere or if it was a download. I can't recall the source of it, but it just came one day. And yeah, like for everything, if I'm going on a date with someone, if I'm choosing like a big life decision about where to go to a different country, if I want to hire someone new, if I want to birth a new project, then I ask my womb, and I ask many times because the womb is this oracle. And a very practical way, because it's a very mystical, I love bringing like the mystical so that it's palpable and what's the word? Not palatable, but it's understandable. So for me, and you can explore this in your own body, but when I ask, sometimes I get words, sometimes I get images, sometimes I get all different kinds of codes and symbols. But the most simple way that my womb communicates to me is that I ask, okay, I don't know, let me think of something. Like, should I return to Ecuador? And then I ask and I listen for quite some time with patience, and I receive a yes as like an expansion feeling in my womb, like an opening. And if it's a no, I almost feel my womb contract and is kind of like more static. It's kind of like stationary. Whereas the expansion and the yes is I feel the energy moving outwards. And it's very simple. And like an oracle, I will ask that many times and get the answer. And then I'll ask over many days just to really make sure. And something that came through to me today that I felt that my womb or the collective womb really wanted us to talk about was the importance, and I don't know I'm not actually sure how much you share about this with your audience, but the importance of connecting into our moon time. Yes, because this portal is so much more open in that time. And I have had all of my greatest insights in my moon time. I've birthed every single course, every single retreat. Everything in my work, my whole body of work came as a download in my moon time. There's not one of them that wasn't created in moon time.
There was this course that I gave called the Multipotential Woman, was in late summer, and the first code of being multipotential is actually awakening the GPS of your womb. So it's so in alignment. What you are actually saying is actually how to listen to it and how to connect, and as much we connect them, the insights are obvious. And for example, I had these moments because how our works are also very creative, right? Because we are downloading, we are channeling, and our ideas are actually channelings from our highest self. And during the moon time, you are connected with a wise woman, so you are connected with the one that knows your path. So everything that comes from your moon time, if it's a purge, if it's a great idea, there was actually this moon time that was like, I'm gonna go offline, totally offline, like I'm just in my cave. And actually I was receiving so much, so much, so much, so much. I was doing like lots of posts, but I was not online. I was just like doing a diary, because so many things were like online, like I couldn't stop. And then I was like, girls, and I was like, girls, I know that I tell you to not to be online, but seriously, it's like so much important content that is coming right now, that I just come here and post a photo and text. And I was like, seriously, doing like 3 posts today. It was like so crazy, like couldn't stop coming. It's like, it's amazing. And then it's very important. And the multi-potential woman, why I included this, because we need to not also activate the GPS, but understand that there are phases where we have more creativity, understand our levels of creativity also, because sometimes there are moments that feels that you have a lot, sometimes you don't. And sometimes, especially if you are an entrepreneur and you own your own business, you can actually, you have the freedom to choose the month your work. There are moments that you have more energy, and moments that you are like, you need to rest more and listen more. And they're different. I found out that during the month there are different ways where creativity gets expressed. So in moon time it gets expressed on this way, these channelings, but I'm resting. Creativity gets expressed in my ovulation, and when like it gets expressed to my energy, to my ecstasy, to my joy. So it gets expressed in different ways, and I can use that to actually create all the visions I got in my moon time. So in that way, you are just increasing your productivity. I got this one of my clients that did this course, and she was a super entrepreneur, and she was like, wow, this is really changing my business. This is like making me super. Now I understand. Now I have to put my big meeting on this day, and everything for her started to flow. And I was like, it's so simple, right?
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And you know, you're reminding me, it's like, it's so part of my life that I forget that other people don't live like that. Like, it's so normal for me now to live my business, my life, my social life, my exercise in attunement with my cycle, that I actually forget that other people don't know those things or aren't in tune with that. And for me, it's very, very important for me that I take at least day 1 and day 2 off of work on my moon. That's like a hard boundary for me. And to really go inwards. And then really, I don't really work for like 5 days. And because I'm an entrepreneur, I also chose this life. I'm lucky that I feel fortunate that I entered this work from a young age. I'm 25. And that I sculpted a life that was in alignment with my menstrual cycle, and that I have told everyone in my life knows where I am in my cycle continually. And they treat me, because I've gently taught them over time, they treat me differently depending on what season I'm on. And I had a question recently that was like, in one of my retreats, that was like, oh, but what do the people that work with you think about the fact that if your moon comes a day, like comes unexpectedly, or your moon, whatever, it doesn't come on time? Or I'm like, I don't want to work with people that don't respect that. Like, that's not me being in integrity with my teachings, because I'm teaching people to take time off when they're bleeding. And so for me to get my bleed on an unexpected day, my first thing is to cancel everything in my day and go inwards. And obviously I don't have children, I don't have a family, but there are different ways that can be possible, with support, with your partner. There's a level of accessibility to every woman. And if we don't deeply, deeply, deeply rest in winter, then we won't have the full energy to bloom, in the same way that if Earth doesn't take a full winter in the Northern Hemisphere, she can't fully bloom and blossom in the summer. And one of the biggest issues of period pain is that people don't rest. And there's so many things. There's a lot of trauma that hasn't been healed. There's a lot of stagnancy in the womb and a lot of different things causing period pain. But one of the things is that we're not deeply resting. I think I'm echoing. Can you hear me echoing?
No.
Oh. So one of the most easeful ways to really just connect in is to create, like you said, a moon cave, and the womb will thank you so much if you take even 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. You can write in your journal, you can write about what am I releasing from this cycle. You can draw a card, what am I releasing from this cycle? And then you can connect with your womb and ask your womb, what am I releasing? Like, we can have a mental answer and then we can have an embodied womb wisdom, deeper answer. And I always get a lot deeper from that. And then when it feels ready, you can ask, okay, what am I stepping into in my next cycle? You can draw a card. You can have a mental idea, and then you can also meditate with your womb and really listen, what am I stepping into in this next cycle? And how does that look like? What are the tools, the people, the places, the things? And I usually take one project through each cycle. So every menstrual cycle, I will birth one project. For me, that's enough. Sometimes it's two, but like to really be in fluidity and longevity with my sexual creative energy, one project is good for me. And then I schedule all of my like you said, my creations, my launches, my podcast things, like if I'm recording videos for a course or something, that's all in my ovulation time. Also because during that time, the communication centers of our brain, the heightened estrogen causes the centers of our brain that are for communication to be most active. So we actually have the most precision with and articulation with our speech during that time. And yeah, it's just like, that's the rhythm of my life, and it's so natural to me and so beautiful. And I really hope that a really simple book that's like not very mystical, very practical, I know you've read it, I think you've read it, is In the Flow by Lisa Beatty.
Yes. I was introduced to this book by you.
Oh yeah? Oh. And I also have created a whole online school where we spend like 1 month, one module on each phase of the cycle, and we learn about, like, we go so deep. Like, people always say from that journey, because I've been doing it for like 2-3 years now in different iterations, and everyone always says like, wow, I had no idea you could go so deep on the menstrual cycle. There are so many mystical layers of wisdom and archetypes, and yeah,
it's so amazing. And also one of the things that all these years that you have been working with women, like I also like when I ask when women are, let's say sometimes I have women that want to do this work, but still the menstrual cycle doesn't come in alignment. Normally what you suggest, imagine they are doing your program and they are doing, well, this is the week of that, and this is ovulation, this is that phase, this is the moon phase. But she's experienced at the same time different, or experienced after, and she does the whole plan for the month in her business according to that. And what you would advise, like when it doesn't get regulated, when you change, because sometimes happens, right?
So you're asking if someone plans their month ahead with their cycle and then their cycle is irregular? Is that the question?
Yes. Yes.
Well, let me think. Let me feel into it. I think that's a very personal question for each human, because it's like, my answer would be to listen to their body, and maybe you do a launch and it's you've like organized a call or something, and your ovulation hasn't arrived yet. It's up to really how you feel in your body. I don't think there's anything like we can't. One of the reasons why I don't resonate with period apps is because when we can't algorithmize, we can't create algorithms of the feminine wisdom of our body. Man has been trying to create systems and structures around the feminine body and the feminine and the earth for so long, and you can't do it. So of course there's always going to be moments where it's not in alignment, and I think it's okay. It's like what I always teach also in my school is like that I'm giving them a blueprint, and I'm giving them a lot of information around each archetype, around each phase, and then I invite them, okay, these are all the things. I want you to explore this in your own body and find your own unique connection to it. And every cycle will be slightly different. Every cycle will be a tiny bit different, or there'll be a new layer, or it will be a shift. And so I think just allowing whatever comes, and if you don't ovulate on the same day as your launch, it's okay. Like everything will be fine. And I think what I want to really answer with that is giving the power back to the person and each unique individual, that they can listen to their body and choose and shift from there.
So beautiful. Every time I listen to you, this is so beautiful. I really, really, really love to listen to you. I can definitely relate, because, for example, me, it's incredible, because all my life I had non-regular period, and started to be regular with the work I have been doing the past 2-3 years, but especially after Tantric cards started to be super regular. But after a while it started to go back to 33 days, 34, 35 days, and then I realized that sometimes there are cycles that are longer, and we don't have to panic without that.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe there is a little misalignment that we can look at it, and understand, and maybe some cycles are just 31 days, 32 days, and just because sometimes we are not in the new moon, we don't have to panic totally. Sometimes, do you believe that also the womb wants to change the cycle for the red cycle, or it's just some misalignment sometimes?
So in terms of like longer cycles and cycle shifts, like the most important piece for me there is like reminding people that their womb knows what it's doing. And so when the womb knows when to bleed, and the ingredients, a lot of the nerves feeding from the sacrum into the reproductive system are parasympathetic nerves. So if we're not in a state of sympathetic nervous system, if we're stressed, if there's an emotional turmoil, if there's tension in the pelvis, like whatever's happening in the context of the life, is usually the womb will wait until the body feels safe to let go and bleed. And so one of the first things that I always say to the women that are waiting their bleed, and they're on day 35, 36, and so on, is like, okay, what do you need to let go? Go and do some really deep yin yoga. Do a yoni steam. Think about what part of your cycle needs to be alchemized. Maybe do an obsidian egg practice and a rage release. Like rage release just before you bleed is so important part of my practice and what I share and teach. And it's like, what do you need to let go? So maybe it's softening, maybe it's an emotional catharsis, a releasing process. And most likely, almost always, the reason we're not bleeding is because we're in that kind of tension in the pelvis or in life. And so as soon as we take that time to just, or maybe it's because you're traveling and the womb is waiting for you to nest and land. You know, it's like the womb needs to be nested in order to bleed.
When I went to Costa Rica, I bleed immediately. I feel.
Exactly. It's like the intelligence of the womb is so beyond anything that we could ever even comprehend with our human minds. It's this ancient, ancient, ancient intelligence that I can't even pretend to understand. It's so interconnected with the web of life and the wisdom of life. And so I think if someone's having an irregular cycle consistently for many years, then it is something to look at in terms of hormone balance or in terms of the sympathetic nervous system and their nervous system. But if it's just a one-off now and again, or if they're bleeding for a long time or bleeding for less time or whatever it is, there's something different about your cycle. Just remembering and looking at what's happening in your life at that time, you know, and having compassion for yourself around the emotional, psychosomatic aspect of your life during that time.
Also, we had here an amazing question that Yolanda says, I had my moon 2 times in 15 days. What this could mean? So you have been with, yeah.
You want me to
Melissa
answer it?
Yeah, if you want, Melissa has just super experience with women and with these cases. So normally when you observe these cases, what you have been observing when these irregularities come?
Well, I can't see the question, but I think it's like in the opposite end of the spectrum, because everybody's body is unique, right? And it processes and digests life differently. Every single body is unique in its digestion of life. And so in this case, it could just be that perhaps you're in, I don't know, but maybe you're in a process where your body needs to release right now. I don't know the context of your life, and if you feel comfortable to share, then I'd be so happy to expand more. But maybe this was a moment where your womb needed to release something emotional, or it's like some bleeds for me are very much purging processes. Some of them I'm really releasing something, and some of them are more like mystical, magical upgrade, expansion, insights. And so sometimes they can be with that focus of the womb, the body, the pelvis is purging something. So I don't know if that resonates with you. And again, if it happens just as a one-off, trust the intelligence of it. If it continually happens for many, many months, then maybe seek out some support of some womb healing, or someone who works like in similar ways that me and Inez do. But also the most simple thing, it's like, yeah, the most simple thing that comes to me is when we have pain, when the bleed is happening like this, just ask your womb and sit and listen to your womb. What is the reason? And when we're really listening to our womb wisdom, the invitation is receptivity. So it's how we can sit with our consciousness in the womb in this place of like an open-ended question, just listening, 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 opening, listening, and being receptive. And I actually really just I invite you to ask your womb, why did it bleed twice this month? And that's the best answer you're going to get.
Yeah, she answers, yes, totally sense. I had to release more this month than the last ones.
Yeah, so one thing I'll say about that is, in that case, because you bled twice, it would be very supportive to your body to increase your iron, your magnesium, your calcium uptake in this month, either with herbal tea, with some different, I don't know what kind of medicines you work with, some natural medicines just to increase your iron, magnesium, and calcium to support your body through this. Like, for example, nettle, very strong nettle tea will be really supportive. Red raspberry. Those are the two that kind of come to mind with the strongest mineral content.
We have to close soon because Melissa has to go, but we just have a very little question. Say, which herbs do you recommend for bleeds? I'm without my moon for 80 days. I do have tension in my life. And for steaming, I mean?
For steaming, um, I love talking about herbs. I'm a herbalist for context, a folk herbalist. So so in the case of having no moon is called amenorrhea. So you want to work with aborifacins. I can never really pronounce that, but herbs that shed the lining of the womb. So one of my greatest allies in this, it depends where you are from the world, but mugwort, so Artemisia vulgaris, is really powerful to drink the tea and to steam with it, but just a little bit. You don't need a ton of mugwort in your steam. It's the witch's herb of Europe, and I could talk about mugwort for a long time. It has so many benefits, but it's a midwife herb. It increases it will make you have strong dreams because it increases your visions, lucid dreaming. But even if you drink a strong concoction of it during your steam and have it coming like both ends, and really ask the mugwort, like really be in prayer with the plant spirit itself and ask the mugwort to support you releasing. And mugwort brings a lot of fresh blood flow to the pelvis and will help you shed your lining. And I think intention is so powerful. So to connect with the plant spirit and ask these kind of questions. But you can also do some research on aborifacins. Ruda is a really powerful one, more from like Mayan territory. And I worked with a bunch of different ones. Also, I work, it would be hard to give you a specific one because you're not my client and I don't know your story, but I also work very deeply with Vitex, chaseberry tree, not as a steam, I don't know about that, but as a supplement or as a tincture. I worked a lot with Vitex during my times of not having my moon. I can geek out on herbs for like a long time, but those are my top.
Check
Mugwort.
Melissa's work because it's so good. Yeah, they say Artemisia and Ruda she has at home.
Perfect. Do you have Ruda? So Ruda is just supposed to be used in like it's not recommended to use Ruda many times. It's used more as like a one-off ceremonial thing. If you have a lot of it in your body, it can be a bit intense for your body. And it's a very powerful ally plant, but I would use it maybe once, twice, 3 times maximum with a strong intention of bringing your moon back and really connect to the spirit, because these plant spirits also have a consciousness and can help us with this, whatever our question is or whatever our intention is. And again, ask your womb why she's not bleeding or why it's not bleeding, and listen about what needs to happen or what it needs or what the process is in order for your womb to really let go and get back into her rhythm or its rhythm. Yeah.
They say thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I know you have to go. It's your time to go. I'm so grateful that you jumped here and you came. Thank you so much. This was so good. I love to have you here. Such a honor. Deep thanks, sister, to be part of this. And you have so much wisdom. I want to see you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I feel like we just got started, but maybe this is part 1. I do have to go and meet my sister now. I haven't seen her in a year, so I'm excited about that. And yeah, just my blessings to everyone listening and their wombs and their creativity and this transitional portal of entering 2023. And if it resonates to really start this womb healing and awakening journey in your 2023, then I would be so honored to support you through that. And I know Inez would too. And I'm just grateful that you're here and listening. And I hope you received a lot of nourishment and insight and inspiration from this conversation.
Thank you so much, dear. Part 2, maybe it's going deeper on the cervix.
Yes, yes.
We should do the part 2. Oh, thank you
Okay.
so much.
I
And
love
I'm gonna let you
you.
go
Thank
because
you for
I
having
know I
me.
have to go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this time together, sister. Oh,
I love you.
mwah.
Have a beautiful evening.
Have a beautiful evening and with your sister. And thank you all of you who were here. Big
Yes.
kiss. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining me in this episode. I hope you have enjoyed, and if so, let me know how it landed to you. For now, have a gorgeous, beautiful day, and I see you on the next one.